Why am I willing to pay $5,000 for a handbag, but I refuse to pay for a contractor to come and update an area within my home? How does that make any sense? If you are wondering that by watching some of my content, then I'm going to answer that for you today in this video. Hi, my name is Rachel. Welcome to Lux on the Low, where we talk all things about living a luxurious life while staying on a realistic budget. If that's something that you think that you're interested in, then please join my little area of the YouTubes and go ahead and like, subscribe, and put the bell notification on so that you know the next time I upload a video. How does this make any sense? Well, one, for many of you, you are probably thinking it doesn't. And I completely understand. For me, it makes sense, and I'm going to explain that. Honestly, when it comes all down to it, how it makes sense in my brain, the girl math of all of it is, I can do these things in my home without someone else's help. Now, I may not be able to do it, well, I know I'm not able to do it as well as that person, but that's okay. I'm willing for it to look a little rough around the edges or to have little areas where I'm like, oh, that doesn't look good, but no one else is paying attention to it. Versus I cannot make one of these handbags. Now, I guess I could try, but it's not going to look good. And I also have no motivation or get excitement about doing that. I hate sewing. I hate when a piece of clothing has a hole in it and now I have to try to, if I really love that piece of clothing, now I have to figure out how to fix the hole. I hate doing that. It doesn't give me any sort of joy. I don't look at that and say, oh, look what I've done, because it's not just something that motivates me. However, I am so motivated about completing things within my home. I'm sure my friends don't appreciate it, or they, shake and nod their head and smile and say, oh, well, that's great, because they love me and they want to support me. But I love just showing off, look what I was able to do on my own, or with the help of my father back when my father was still present, or with the help of my husband. And saying, I did all this, I chose the colors, I chose the accents, I chose all the materials, and I managed to figure out how to put them all together, and now it looks like this, and this is what it looked like before. That to me is just so exciting. That is really the joy that I get out of it, and I feel like that's priceless. So I'm not willing to pay someone to do that within my home, because one, it's 3 times more expensive, and I understand why, because they are doing the labor, and that takes a lot of time. That's one of the things that I am going to share in another video, like the hidden costs of DIY, because there are certain things that we don't include typically when we're talking about how much DIY cost us. So I feel like it's an underestimation of how much things actually cost, but that's one of the things that you have to keep in mind. Your time is money. Your time does cost, and you're giving things up to dedicate time for doing DIY. That contractor has a trade, and they've worked hard to get that skill, and they deserve to be paid for it. So I completely support that. I just don't want to pay for it. I'd rather, like I said, do it myself. Now, for handbags, how do I think about it with regard to, am I giving up something? Do I look at it as, oh, well, if I buy this $5,000 handbag, then I'm not doing this, DIY project, or I have to decide, which, do I want a DIY project or do I want a handbag? What does that look like? I think that it can be that way sometimes. It really just depends on how you budget your money. For me, I save up money for handbags over a long period of time, and that goes into a separate bucket. And then I do that for DIY projects and things like that. Okay, this is like, the disposable income that I have that I can allot to doing these things. This is the amount of money that goes here, this is the amount of money that goes here, and then I decide, okay, based off of the amount of money that I have in each bucket, these are the things that I'm getting, and when is that happening? If you have watched my video where I show like my reaction to wish list of 2026 for handbags, I talk about I'm not buying any handbags this year because I have to save up money in order to do that. And I bought a lot of handbags in 2025 because I had saved up money over a 4 to 5 year period. And then I bought a lot of handbags all at once. And that's just what makes sense to me. While I was, saving up that money, I was doing in that 4 to 5 year period a lot of DIY projects. I renovated with the help of my father and my husband, 2 bathrooms in our other house. Since we have moved into this house, I cannot tell you how many projects that we have completed. I mean, I have a whole list on my phone of all of the things that we have completed since moving into this home, and it's at least 40 to 50 items. So we have done a lot of things. I shift my focus. And so that's what makes sense to me. Hopefully this was something that you enjoyed. It was just a little bit of rambling of, you know, how do I girl math? Buying a $5,000 handbag, but I'm not willing to pay for a contractor to do things in my home. The caveat that I will add to this is when we finish our basement, which we plan to do all of that work ourselves, except for mudding the drywall. We will not do that because that really is a skill that takes a lot of time to hone, and if you don't do it right, you're wasting a lot of money and you're wasting a lot of time. So we will hang the drywall, but we will not mud it. We will pay a professional then to do that and make sure that that's done correctly, because it's just going to take way too much time to figure out how to do that in a way that I'm going to be okay with how it looks. And you really can tell if it's not done correctly because it looks horrible, and then you're looking at that on all of your walls. So that is the one caveat. I will definitely pay a contractor to do that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me in the comments below, what are your thoughts? Do you think that this makes sense? Do you think the way that I approach this doesn't make any sense? Am I girl mathing incorrectly? What are your thoughts? I can take the heat. I hope you have a luxurious day, but keep it on the low. Bye guys.